The Great Wall of China was built brick by brick. Do you know what this means? It means that every lesson attended and question attempted counts. So far, you have learned about bar charts, grouped data, class intervals, class limits, class boundaries, and class mark. We will go further to study about histograms. Unlike bar charts, which can be used to represent discrete data, histograms are used to represent continuous data. Hence, there are no spaces between the bars of a histogram. Other things you must know about histograms are: 1. The width of the bars correspond to the class interval. 2. The areas of the rectangles or bars of the histograms are proportional to the frequency of the class. 3. In cases where the classes are equal, the height is proportional to the frequency. Lastly, the upper class boundaries are used in a histogram as the horizontal axis. Let us represent the data in this frequency table with a histogram. Remember that the upper class boundaries are always used in the histogram. Therefore, we write out the class boundary. Can you tell me where the upper class boundaries are? There they are. Now, it's time to draw the histogram. It is the same procedure as that of the bar chart, and we will be making use of a ruler and pencil. First, we draw out the axes and label them. Remember that there are no spaces on the histogram. In addition to that, since the class intervals are equal throughout the data, the frequency determines the height of each of the bars. Hence, for the first class with upper boundary 5.5 and a frequency of 80, we leave a small gap on the horizontal axis because the lower boundary is 0.5 and not 0. So, we draw the line up to 80, then the width, and then back to the horizontal axis, and label with the upper boundary. That was easy, wasn't it? Now, let's also represent the second class. Remember that the width has to be equal since the class intervals are equal and there are no spaces between the bars. Therefore, we draw and locate 100, then draw the width and back to the horizontal axis. What do you think is left to be done? We label it as 10.5, which is the upper boundary. Next, we represent the third class, leaving no space. So we draw our line up to 45, which is halfway between 40 and 50. We draw the width, then back to the horizontal axis, and finally label it as 15.5. Now to the fourth class. We draw the line, locate 15, then draw the width, and back to the horizontal axis. Finally, we label it as 20.5. Why not plot the bar for the last class? Remember, draw the line, locate the frequency, draw the width, and then back to the horizontal. If you follow these steps, you should have this. I'm sure you have learned something new. Always bear in mind that histograms are special types of bar charts. Also, whenever the lower boundary of the first class is not 0, you leave appropriate space on the horizontal line before plotting the first bar. I hope to see you in the next lesson.